Hi, my name is Keisha and welcome to Studio Brunel. This is my first year as creative director at Studio Brunel and it will also be my last. This year is going to be very different to all the other years. Most of our events will be on Zoom. We have a great winter term lined up and we hope you can all get involved. This year, as creative director for Studio Brunel, I am working on a documentary called Why I Am Tired, and I'd love for any of you to get involved. I hope you all enjoy the year, and welcome again to Studio Brunel and Brunel.
Hi, definitely one of the main reasons why I wanted to be a part of Studio Brunel was because I felt like our university didn't have any clubs that was quite like it. The group at the time I felt were really hardworking, and it was kind of just a new exciting project that I could do besides my coursework. And also everyone was just so friendly. It was just such a great experience. And it felt like after my first show that I was involved in, it felt like I had made a really good group of friends and a really nice, I was part of a really nice community. Hard work pays off, especially in this industry. It's so competitive. So definitely starting early and getting yourself involved in extra stuff just looks amazing on your CV, one, but also it's just so important for your development, as I was gonna say, your character and stuff, and develops your skills and just all that really important stuff that you need later on in life, which I've realised as a graduate now. And confidence, it helps so much with your confidence. I feel like doing a theatre course, we did perform fairly often, but not quite to the extent that Studio Brunel would. The audience was always quite big. It was nerve-wracking, but I felt I grew in confidence a lot, and grew as a performer as well. A memory that sticks out at Studio Brunel is I've got quite a few good ones. Working at on NSFW was just such a good experience. It was just such a friendly and fun atmosphere. I definitely made friends for life from doing NSFW. The directors were amazing. It was just a really comfortable space to learn and stuff. But a memory that sticks out is playing the Camille game. So before every usually as a warm-up or before every show we'd play a little game, and they were always really fun, and I'd always end up losing. It was really frustrating. Consent was really good. Out of the shows that I wasn't in, I think I watched all of them that I was there for, but Consent I think really just stuck with me. It was a really good show. It was directed by Lauren. I just felt like even though a lot of my friends and people I knew from uni were standing up there performing, I was I really believed them, that they were these horrible characters, and I was I hate you after. But yeah, the acting and the direction was really, really nice. That was a really good show, and I felt like it stood out from the others as well.
I started off working backstage on NSFW, which was Studio Brunel's first production. I then started to use my skills from my course to create the programme for Medea. After that, I became the lead designer, working on all the promotional material and managing a team at the same time. Now I hold the position of marketing officer, where I oversee all the promotional material going out for Studio Brunel, whether that is show related or events related. I also help create the programmes, videos and posters still. Initially I wanted to join Studio Brunel to continue my passion for acting. Over time I got drawn to the marketing side of the shows, and I practiced that whenever I could. Being a part of Studio Brunel has given me a clear idea of what working with a professional theatre company would look like. And it also has given me experience which will benefit me when I come to work in theatre. I've also developed my design skills by learning how to make print-based content, which came from designing the programme for the shows. One of my most memorable moments was working on Medea as a stagehand. Due to the unique nature of the show, I had to follow the cast around with lights. I also had to ensure that I was never blocking the audience's view.
First things first, I think the greatest thing that you learn there is time management. At the end of the day, you're doing all of these things as an extracurricular activity, so you still have to manage all of your assignments on top of that. That month was one of the most hectic months I've ever had in my life. Goodness me, I think I only sat down when I slept. But loved every second. And that's the second thing I learned there, was to relax and enjoy myself, enjoy the work even, and enjoy the people you're around doing it with. The memory that sticks out for me is sitting backstage and just listening to the performance happen. You've heard those words about 10 billion times already, so you're not really paying attention to the plot. But it's that realization that the performance is finally happening and you were able to take part in that, help put that performance up, and you're able to succeed. It's definitely where you realize that you put yourself out there. And for me, doing something that I'd never done before, never did I plan to do, but enjoyed yourself while doing it, but also was successful in it. And you think, maybe next time I'll put myself out there a little bit more, or try even more new things. The favourite show I've seen so far is Consent. Consent for me was one of the more powerful performances that Studio Brunel has put up. It was surrounding a topic that I believe the team connected with and the audience connected with as a result. And it entertained us in that moment, but also 15, 20 minutes, half an hour after the show was over, we were still standing around talking about the topic of consent. And it did more than entertain for that very second, but also create a discussion. And I think that's what makes it so powerful. It was staged beautifully. I think the actor did fantastically in it. And as a result, it created a much greater impression on all of us. So, Consent.
My journey with Studio Brunel started back in my first year at uni, when I saw NSFW, and I loved the performance. I really loved the professionalism, so I wanted to immediately audition for the next show. And fortunately, I got a part in Medea, which I really, really loved. And after that, I was involved in a bunch of their other shows as either director or as a performer, and it has always been such a fond memory for me. Initially, I wanted to be involved with Studio Brunel after I saw their performance of NSFW, and it was a real breath of fresh air. I thought that they were really professional. I really loved how closely they worked together with each other. I loved that it was a student-led production company, and I really admired all of their hard work, so I really wanted to be a part of it from the get-go, just seeing how well they worked together. During my time at Studio Brunel, as part of the company as an actor and as part of the creative team for about a year now, I've learned a lot of different practical skills. I've always really enjoyed how professional and efficient everything has been, and seeing how things work behind the scenes has made me a lot more aware of how much work goes into creating a production. So I've really learned a lot in terms of professional skills and learning how things work in the industry. I've also learned a lot about collaboration and working together with people that I otherwise wouldn't have had the opportunity to work with. For example, music students, alumni who have come to help out with shows. And it's just been a really, really great time. I feel like I've learned a lot and developed a lot of skills, especially for my CV. So I'm really, really grateful for everything and all the opportunities I've been able to get by being part of the company. My fondest memory being part of Studio Brunel was back in my first show, Medea. It was my first time being part of a show with the company, and I was really nervous because everyone seemed to know each other, but they were immediately really, really welcoming. I feel like the cast and the crew really got along immediately. And I remember when we were playing warm-up games, we would play Bang, and we eventually started telling more and more inside jokes, and eventually the game was unrecognizable from how it originally was, and it became incomprehensible, but it was always so fun to be able to play a game and really connect with everyone from the get-go. It really always brought a smile to my face and made me really excited to start a long rehearsal. So that was a really fond memory for me. Another fond memory was when we were all saying goodbye at the handover event back in December, or in January, I believe. And it was just such a bittersweet moment of being able to say goodbye, but also being able to say hello to new opportunities and stepping up as creative director.